The Rams have met with multiple top prospects, some fan favorites, some surprise formal meetings. That NFL player report card came out for the Rams. And is Maxx Crosby gonna be a Ram? It seems like some insiders feel like that's a strong possibility. We'll talk about all that next on this update episode here on the Rams Up Podcast Network. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Rams Up Podcast Network. I'm Ian. That's Mark. If you're on YouTube, we appreciate the support here. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like this video, like all the videos you enjoy from our channel. Subscribe also. Listen in on the podcast audio-only side of things. Hey, guys, no matter where you're tuning in from us, we appreciate it. Please share it all. Share the YouTube, share the pod. It helps other Rams fans see our content. And, at the end of the day, helping the fan base grow in this LA 2.0 era, no matter where you live. California, like me and Mark, you're still in Missouri, you're elsewhere on planet Earth. Shout out to our Australian and now a lot of Asian, Japanese, and Korean fans I see around here in LA County. I see a lot, which is kind of cool. So no matter where you are, we appreciate you tuning in. Share everything, right, Mark? I mean, the fan base is growing. It's good.
Yeah, I'm seeing more and more Rams paraphernalia out and about, so that's a good sign. And man, they're an easy team to root for these days, that's for sure.
Yeah, I was in Chinatown and I saw this family all wearing the modern LA logo, and only the younger son spoke English. So it just shows you that no matter where your heritage is, the city is supporting. Whether they think the hat is cool, great, they love football. There's some evidence right there, everyone, that Rams are getting support no matter what your nationality is, at least in LA that I've seen. So that's pretty cool. Shout out to all the Chinese. Shout out to all the Koreans. I had some good Korean barbecue by some customers related to me and my family business. And I'm still stuffed from that, even from yesterday. But outside of food and good culture, everyone, I mean, the Rams, Mark, met with, many top prospects, maybe not a crazy list like other teams. I mean, you see it. Right, everyone, social media, you'll get updates from your favorite draft analysts, etc. Like, man, this team met with 20 different players, formal, informal, blah, blah, blah. The Rams, at least as of today, have a smaller list than most. But I mean, Mark, there's some big names on this list. And are you big with the combine right now? I know like national media is really, just be honest, they're really crapping on it, saying, the combine's pointless now. Yada, yada. Do you have that same mindset like some people have now?
Well, I think it's entertainment. And I rely on my special assistant to feed me the important stuff, and I kind of monitor it. But if you should know by now. I mean, you got scouts working all year long, and I heard one commentator saying, "Hey, these scouts assess these players all year long, and they come back to the front office and say, here's a guy, this is another guy, this is another guy," and then you get to the combine and a guy runs a 4.40, and suddenly what the scouts assessment doesn't get as much weight as it should, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So it's fun, it's entertainment, and other than that, I don't think it weighs that much. Certainly not with the Rams. I don't think the combine is that important to them at this point. Maybe those interviews are, but the how they do in shorts, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, the on the field stuff, I think, everyone holds out for the pro day, which I get it. It's a business decision. I think, if we had superpowers like most of these athletes coming in, Mark, I'm sure we would probably agree with, hey, we'll do things at our own campus with our own people and quarterback, and we'll do our good work in our own setting. So you got to respect that decision, everyone. And I do think out of everything, no matter what you're taking is on watching the combine on NFL Network. And, shout out to Rich and Daniel Jeremiah and Charles Davis and everyone else, ESPN as well, that do a good job covering it, interviews, getting some good, sound bites and highlights. The meetings, right? And the Rams, whether or not Sean McVay and Les Snead give a crap about it themselves being there physically, which they don't. Totally get it. The Rams are still represented. I think there's this notion that just because the head coach and the GM aren't there, like, oh, the Rams aren't here. Guys, let's be honest. Les Snead's got his crew in the front office, whether it be scouts or other executives. They're out there. They're watching. They're meeting with these players, whether it's formal, right? When you're in that quote unquote 20-minute window in a suite in the Colts stadium where you have a whiteboard, you have video to refer to, or it's like an informal meeting, right? Where run into a player in the hallway, say, hey, I'm with the Rams. I want to talk to you for about 5 minutes or so real quick. What is a player going to say? No, right? So Rams are represented. They're talking to players, and we got a list for you. So, guys, I think this player is a fan favorite in Southern California for a lot of reasons. And if you are a USC fan, and I'm still a part of that group, I mean, grew up with it, family went to USC, tons of friends, some best friends as well went to USC. So I lived the USC life, Mark, without actually attending the school. So that was fun back in the day. But this player, everyone, wide receiver Makai from USC, he confirmed in his press conference that went viral. We'll get to that. He confirmed he met with the Rams. So, I mean, Mark, the connection, the Southern California connection would be fun. But I think what's most important is the player good? Yeah. And is his character going to fit in with the Rams culture? Because, I mean, we all saw number 6 out there be a absolute baller, right, Mark? Punt return, slot, outside, contested catches. I'll dive deeper into his film as we get past free agency. But, Mark, outside of his running ability, this picture just cracks me up. If you're on YouTube, you can see it's a serious demeanor in that press conference at the scouting combine in Indianapolis. And many people were ripping him, man. Look, my simple take is, if you have ever watched USC football, heard any previous press conference from him at his time playing for the Trojans, serious guy. And look, he's got a little hood in him. And that's really it. I think that's as simple as that, Mark. But I get it. People worrying about, oh, is that going to fit in the Rams culture? Look, if he likes football, he's a baller. Can he do everything Sean McVay wants at the receiver position? And can he just not be a dumbass off the field? I think he would fit in just fine. But if you haven't seen the clip of his press conference, it was kind of jarring and funny in a weird way. But I just think he's a serious hood dude who's a baller. I don't know, Mark. Am I tripping on that?
No, I agree 100%. And I went back after I heard about this. I went back and I saw a little bit of it. I went back and looked at his highlights. And I know highlights are always amazing. But man, this guy has some juice in his step.
Yeah.
When he has the ball in space, what I really noticed is that uncanny ability to read where the defenders are, where his blockers are, and to just pick his spot and contested catches. And there's no doubt this guy's going to be, I hesitate to use the word elite, but he's going to be a darn good wide receiver. And I was originally a little hesitant about a guy that maybe is ideal for only the slot, but screw that, man. This guy he'd be a great addition. I think he might be the surest thing of those top 3 or 4 wide receivers. Yeah. And I really feel that way. And as far as the demeanor, some people are just awkward in situations like that. And any amount of coaching up, it's just his personality. How about a phone call between Sean McVay and Lincoln Riley would probably account for a lot more with the Rams than this little interview. And I'm not too worried about it. And then I have the conspiracy theory if Lincoln Riley is telling Makai, hey, just bomb your interview and drop to 13 so you can go play for the Rams and Sean McVay. How about that?
Well, look in the history of the draft, it seems like the same 10 teams are always in the top 10, and give or take every once in a while, things may be a little bit different in the top 15 to top 20. Well, one of the years is this year, obviously, thanks to Atlanta Falcons for, blowing up your first round pick guy who's dealing with serious felonies right now. Again, if he's innocent, we hope he gets his proper treatment. And if he's guilty, what a disaster that was, right? Just 1 year removed, well, not even yet from that pick. So thank you, Atlanta, for that, top 15 pick. And if your conspiracy is likely, which, let's be honest, you don't think every agent and player and the player's family are hoping they land with an organization like the Sean McVay less need Rams? You're joking yourself. So whether he's purposely bombing, and I mean, Mark, there's so many rumors going on right now. People at Indianapolis are saying, oh, yeah, Makai absolutely bombed in multiple interviews speaking to other teams' representation. Look, could it be true? Maybe. Could it be that they saw the press conference and then people are just straight up lying? Yeah, probably too. But at the end of the day, how did he impress the Rams representation that was there? And what does Sean and Les and the coaching staff think about him? And look, there's still time for him to be brought into the facility if they choose, right? The Rams usually don't do that, to be honest with you, but the film don't lie. He's the best wide receiver in the college football entering the NFL based on him winning the Biletnikoff Award, right? So whether, you think his hood desk there and interesting way of answering questions is an immediate no-go for you, I say hold off on that opinion. Let's see how things play out in the next couple of months. But again, I think he's just got a little hood in him. And look, people are uncomfortable in front. And if you've seen, again, one more time, if you've seen this man talk in front of the media for the USC Trojans, this is how he is. Very serious. I mean, when he won the award, Mark, when Lincoln Riley said, hey, you won the Biletnikoff, he was just like, oh, wow, that's cool. Like, no, like, yeah, it was just like casual, shaking up the coaching staff's hands, signing the USC football with all the, great receivers that have won that award there. He's a serious guy. And serious is fine with me, as long as you're not doing dumb shit off the field, right? So I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, and Chad Reuter, I read a little blurb from him. Is he NFL.com, one of the draft analysts, and he said, you can have all the 40 times you want, the 6'4" wide receivers, this and that. Lemon is a guy that an NFL quarterback's going to find him, throw him the ball, and he's going to catch it, and he's going to make plays. End of story.
So, look, at me and Mark, we'll have a deeper list as we get after free agency and see how things turn out for the Rams. Then we'll have a better idea of what the Rams may or may not be targeting in the draft. I'll get to more film on Makai. I've seen very early stuff, the all-22 perspective. It's impressive. And we'll rank and kind of guard him into the other receivers that are ranked highly, and we'll have a better idea later down the road. But the Rams met with Makai. They have some type of interest. Pretty cool. So whether you like him wearing number 6 or you feel weird about his desk there at the combine, Rams are interested in some way, shape, or fashion. So hold your breath, everyone. Let's not just immediately say he's a no-go based on a serious face or two at the press conference. But another receiver they met with, Mark, and look, this should be no shock. They met with the fastest, the speediest, whatever, and that's not a real word, but you know what I mean. The speedy guy, Brennan Thompson from Mississippi State, who, ironically, and good for him, had the fastest time at the combine, running a 4.26. So, I mean, this guy could fly. And look at the Rams, Sean McVay specifically, has been trying to find a reliable speedster like Brandon Cooks in 2018. And look, Brandon Cooks was awesome. He's fast, could run every route, tough, screen. He's been trying to find something like that, Mark, since that first Super Bowl appearance season. And Brennan Thompson is someone they've met with, and 5'9", right? Very 2-2 Atwell kind of body frame. Obviously a little bulkier, of course, maybe not as thin as 2-2 was. But for anyone out there saying, the Rams are done with those type of guys, well, seems like that's not the case, Mark. And hey, you never know. Could be available later. Obviously, I don't think he'll be a first-round pick based on his physical height and weight, but you never know, right? You want to talk to a guy, maybe he falls later than anticipated. Maybe he is a 4th rounder later guy. I'm not saying that's what I'm grading him as. I got to look at his film. But hey, if there is interest, you never know. You want to do your research, at least person to person with him. So, I mean, Mark, the speedster in the wide receiver room in Sean McVay's vision will not die. And based on the Rams meeting with him, It's alive and well, that theory and hope.
Yeah, I mean, if this guy goes in the fourth or fifth round, the Rams have been pretty good at finding, gems and that's part of the draft. I'd be okay with it, but the 2-2 Atwell draft pick still stings a little bit, and it stings for as much as, I don't know what's going on. It seems like Sean McVay loves these guys, but he doesn't really make an effort to, integrate them into the offense on a regular basis. So what's the point?
Yeah.
But maybe that was more about Tutu. Maybe
Yeah.
Brennan will be a different story if the Rams do land him. I would hope. Right now they don't have a fourth round pick, and they're going to move around and probably pick up a fourth rounder. And if he's there, fourth or fifth round, sure, why not? It depends on how the free agency and the top of the draft go, obviously.
Yeah, and then I don't know if I specified this about Makai. I'll say this real quick. It hasn't been confirmed or unconfirmed that it was or was not a formal meeting. Again, like I explained earlier, that 20-minute closed door session where you have access to a suite, a nice room in the stadium where you could have the player do whatever, film, draw on the board. We don't know if that was the case for Makai, but based on reports about Brennan Thompson, it was a formal meeting where he was in a closed room setting. So that's some pretty solid interest right there, Mark, from the Rams perspective. Whoever did meet with them, I'm sure it's some executive of some sort. And shout out to Damian Parson, who was covering the draft out there. He was one of the main guys to break that news, or, at least to the internet world, that Brennan did meet with the Rams. He also met with the Falcons, and Damian's, quick report there. But hey, I'll dive into his film, Mark. I haven't watched it. Seen highlights, of course. You see the speed. He was at Oklahoma beforehand, transferred, had over 1,000 yards, I believe, on the top of my head. So we'll see. We'll make a proper, what's the word I'll say? A proper draft analysis for the Rams on him. Eventually, we got to get to the film, you and I, right? So, but they're interested.
Yeah. And for if anyone's wondering, returning kicks is not his thing. So they're not drafting him for that. They would draft him for that, like basically to replace Tutu and sit on the bench and get one target every 4 games.
God, that still bothers me. Tutu, we all know Tutu can play. So, the Rams really going to keep doing the cycle of drafting the speedster that don't work out, right? Van Jefferson didn't work out other than one season. Tutu, only when he got opportunities, which, anyway, we'll save that for another day, I guess. But Brennan Thompson had a formal meeting with the Rams. We'll see what that means. And me and Mark will dive into the film and get a better idea of how good or how great he could possibly be for the Rams as a player based on his college tape. But that's for another day. But Mark, they also met, and shout out to Brennan Thompson, in case you're wondering what he looks like here. I had the picture ready. Shout out to PFF with their nice photo. And, hey, I like those Mississippi State uniforms, the all white. Good on them for that.
Yeah.
We need an all white uniform. Wink, wink, Rams. Hopefully we see that next couple months. But another offensive skill player, Mark. And look it. With Jeremiah Love of Notre Dame. How did this come to be? Well, he was on the Rich Eisen show. It was one of my favorite sports talk shows. And they obviously talk about tons of other things as well. Shout out to that crew. Shout out to Hoskins, who comes by and helps out my family business by supporting us every now and then, the producer there. Jeremiah Love, he said on the show, he named all the teams, Rams are one of them. And Mark, with this man here, I understand there are tons of Rams fans that are drooling over this possibility. Look, I don't think he'll make it to 13, but I think the Rams are smartly going to meet with him because you just never know. And I think if he is available at 13, Mark, I don't think the Rams front office, coaching staff, and Sean McVay, unless specifically, would turn that down with him being available at 13 if things went that way. So, I got to look at his film. I've seen highlights. I've seen small, all 22 clips. He's a baller. And I think if he were to join the Rams, it would force Sean McVay to run the ball more, which is a good thing because, man, he's got that holy crap explosive home run hitting ability, which the Rams haven't had since 2018 prime Todd Gurley before the knee issues, honestly. So I think the Rams are smartly doing their diligence, Mark. But your take with again, we don't know if it's formal or informal, but regardless, Rams wanted to talk to that guy, and I think that's smart of them to do that regardless.
Well, yeah, and if he's there at 11, if he's there at 10, do you make the
Yeah.
move? Because it's not going to be that costly, and it's quite a dilemma because I see that as running back obviously isn't the biggest need, but this guy looks like he'd immediately become a top 3 running back day one. Right up there with Bajan, guys like that. And what an element he would add. And Blake Corum and Kyron Williams are fine; they're just fine.
Yeah.
They really are. I have no problem with a running back room, but this would really change things.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know what it would mean for Blake Corum. Actually,
Feels like
maybe
he would
there'd
be
have
out. Let's just be honest about it. Feels like
right,
he would be
yeah,
the odd man out. He would be traded. He would
right,
be part of a. We'll get to some other theories later about trades and a certain player. Yeah, I think you know what
yeah,
we're talking about. But I feel like he would be gone, Mark, to be long story short on that.
yeah. You're probably right. But this offense already, you could argue the best offense period in the National Football League, and then you add a guy like this, man, that'd be something else. And I remember sitting in a hotel room when the Rams drafted Todd Gurley, and I was like, "What are they doing? You know, what? Why are we drafting a? Because we had a decent running back room at that time,
Yeah.
and then we drafted Gurley, and it was like, yeah, that worked out okay.
Yeah, look at I gotta look at this film. We will look at the film, Mark, of course, everyone. And we'll all get our own unbiased opinion based on what we see with our own 2 eyes. But everyone's talking about Jeremiah Love as a generational talent. Like he's up there with the guys that are worthy of being top 10 picks for a running back. A Gurley, a Saquon, a McCaffrey, a Ezekiel Elliott. Like these guys are like, yeah, running back may be we can find them anywhere. I mean, I guess Kyron Williams is kind of the epitome of that, right? Fifth round dude who ends up being a pro bowler and being a multi-time 1,000-yard rusher. We get all that. Kyron's very unique in that respect, of course, but I don't think Rams will pass this up. And again, meeting with him, we don't know if it's formal or informal, but regardless, everyone, Rams representation met with this man based on what Jeremiah Love said on the Rich Eisen show. So we shall see. Things could get very, very interesting if he starts getting to that 10th overall selection, which honestly, I don't think he's going to make it to that, truthfully. But
Yeah, if you
never
want to
know.
consider, if you want to think about how you might feel about Jeremiah Love joining the Rams, look at it from this angle. How would you feel about him landing with another NFC West team like the Seahawks or the 49ers?
Look, I think he's going
So,
to go to the Cardinals. I'm just going to say that now. I'm not
you
trying to
know,
wish it to existence. I just feel like Mike LaFleur. Think about how their running game has been, such a disaster without James Conner, right? And he's had, multiple health issues throughout his career now coming off a serious ankle injury, right? You don't think Mike LaFleur, who is a run the ball man, and hopefully we don't suffer from his departure, right, in the Rams world. I think he's going to go to Arizona just based on that. But hey, Rams are meeting with them because you never know. And I think they'll take him if he's there at 13. And you never know. Maybe they want to trade up, which I wouldn't be mad at either. And also, Mark, Charles Davis, longtime reporter, draft, college prospect guru, does a great job for the NFL Network. Also on draft days, covering the whole shebang, having info on players. Really, really good reporter. Shout out to him. He said the best spot for Jeremiah Love would be the Rams on the broadcast when he was working out. So, I mean, hey, shout out to him. Shout out to anyone who believes it will work out, including us two here. But, I mean, if you got draft gurus saying that, you don't think other NFL teams will be pissing their pants if Jeremiah Love joined the Rams. So we'll see how things shake out. I guess I'll end on that, Mark.
well, at least the Cardinals are yet another team that Sean McVay can pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
buddy, you're gonna get fired in 2 years and come back to the Rams. So, what 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 are you doing here,
Yeah.
man? Help us out."
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. But
I, I
Jeremiah
I'm
Love,
joking. I'm
I
joking.
know.
I'm sure he'll have a great. I was doing it. That was a Raheem Morris reference there.
I mean, look at Cardinals. They haven't kept the coach more than 6 years in their entire team history. So tip my hat to your long venture there in Arizona. I hope things work out for you personally. I hope you lose every game when you play the Rams. But we'll see how it goes. I wasn't that far off, Mark. You were just 4 years off. That's not that bad. But Jeremiah Love, everybody, said it himself on the Rich Eisen show. He met with the Rams, so that's pretty dang interesting, if you ask me here. Another player that's pretty dang interesting that has had a formal meeting, Mark. So this is, again, everyone, real quick, that 20-minute closed in a suite long meeting, I guess, quote unquote, would be outside linebacker, DN, edge defender, whatever name you want to call it, Rueben Bain from the University of Miami, everyone. And this is the quote unquote short arm anomaly, right? For how disruptive he is based on reports. And again, I got to look at his film. Me and Mark will do that. We'll have our own concrete opinions eventually in the next month or so. But I mean, Mark, for this to be a formal meeting, the Rams have serious interest. And out of all the teams that would be willing to take a, I don't know, quote unquote risk on a uniquely shaped bodied player on defense up front, would be the Rams. Remember, everyone on planet Earth once upon a time said Aaron Donald was too small and his measurables were too off to be a successful D tackle long term. Well, how did that work out? Future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, Aaron Donald. So, I mean, Mark, if he's also available, which I don't think will be the case at pick 13, this will be another fantastic candidate, because everyone, you can never have enough disruptive ass kickers on the defensive front, whether it be on the edge, up the middle, linebackers, behind traditional standing linebackers. Anytime you can keep adding to that group, and especially pass rushers. I mean, look at Philly won the Super Bowl recently because they had waves of that. You look at Seattle, this last one, they had multiple guys who are ass kickers. And not to say the Rams don't, but let's be real, they play like shit in every playoff game trying to get to the quarterback this last postseason. Let's not sugarcoat it. They ain't no baby fearsome foursome as of today with their performances for 2 months. Adding Rueben Bain would make sense, because you don't know what's going to happen with Byron Young. You don't know if Jared Verse is going to get any better. We hope. We don't know what's going to happen with that group entirely. Let's be honest about it. For future years, Rueben Bain getting a formal meeting with the Rams makes a ton of sense for all the reasons I just laid out. I mean, your thoughts on his formal meeting with the Rams too, Mark?
Yeah, I would be surprised if they took an edge rusher that early, but it all depends on free agency. If they address cornerback and a wide receiver is probably not going to happen in free agency, in my opinion. But if they check some boxes in the agency, and that's what it's all about, in my opinion, is not painting yourself into a corner when it comes to the draft, where you can kind of just go, hey, this guy may not seem like a big need, but we've addressed cornerback. We got our safety in-house. We're okay with this group. We're okay with that group. Let's go out and get an impact player on the edge. So, in that case, it would make sense. It all depends on how free agency goes, in my opinion.
Yeah, everything's going to be dependent on how free agency goes. So
and trades as well, which we'll talk about in a second.
Absolutely. Well, we'll get to some scenarios a little bit later in this episode, everyone, with a player of note. Wink, wink. I think you know who that is. But, hey, the Rams are in a position, I think, whether they want to trade up or stay at 13 or even at pick 29. You never know. Things get a little wacky as, more information on players will come out. Maybe, quote unquote, bad things happen and players fall and they're available. And Rams are like, no, we don't got a problem with that. We'll get him. So doing the research on top guys, and hey, we'll look at the film. We'll get a good idea. But the short arm king of this draft class, Rueben Bain, I think he's one hell of a player based on highlights I've seen thus far. And I don't think the Rams would have any problem with him and his short arms playing defense for us. And you know what else is funny too, Mark? You saw all the memes, or maybe you haven't, but there's plenty of memes out there of people saying, oh, look how he showed up to the combine, unshaven, no haircut. This dude is all about football, right? Like, you just hear things like that. You hear like his clips, or you hear snippets of press conferences or other interviews he's done with NFL media there at the combine. And he's like, yeah, I don't do anything else, eat, sleep, football. And everyone's like, yes, perfect. I think that would work well out here in Los Angeles. So, hey, short arms,
Yeah.
I think he could play. And again, he's not a lineman. If you were a lineman with short arms, I think that'd be a different story, truthfully. But edge defenders, I mean, can you just kick ass out there? I think Rueben Bain and the Rams think he can based on a formal meeting. Right, Mark?
Yeah. And he's had the production, 20 and a half sacks at Miami. So
Yeah.
hasn't been a problem at the college level.
Yeah. So we'll see. But Rams, again, formal meeting with Rueben Bain, the edge defender from the University of Miami. Crazy. And so another defensive player, Mark, who is on the Rams radar, both fan base and obviously now with the Rams representation at the combine, Mansoor Delane of LSU, the corner, the prohibited number one corner based on a lot of people's opinion. Of course, like always, everyone, me and Mark will watch the all 22 film. We'll have our own independent thoughts on him. But Mark, that was a formal meeting, a 20-minute closed session with the top cornerback based on many reviews thus far. Makes a lot of sense. Corner is a need, and the Rams better do their diligence on corners. So it makes sense that Mansoor Delane was someone that was sought after for a formal meeting, and thank God.
Yeah, he's a guy we've talked about. Scott Richmond really likes him. And yeah, it's just, man, it's typical draft stuff. It's like there's so many guys you want, and you got to weigh. Is there a guy in the second round? Or at number 29, you come back and get a cornerback there, or is Delane that special that you use that 13th pick overall for him? It's tough. It's a tough call. And again, if the Rams go out and do what we're hoping they do and sign one of these top free agent cornerbacks, then would they still draft a first round cornerback? Maybe not. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough, but it's quite a dilemma. And again, thank goodness free agency comes first. The Rams will sort it out, but I'd love to have this guy in a Rams uniform. But man, if he's up there, I mean, with some of these other impact players at different positions, Lemon or Delane, who you got? Those are the questions you got to ask yourself.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the unique years, Mark. In 2022, we had the Lions owned our pick, so they flip flopped it and they wheeled and dealed to eventually get Xavier Gibbs. And, they did a lot of deals to land on that. The Rams have that same potential too.
Yeah,
they can wheel and deal. They have the options to get a really, really talented player at 13, or again, wheel and deal. So this is going to be a fun draft, man, because in years past, we haven't had a first round pick. So to your point there of like, which way do you go, right? Do you say, we need corner, let's take Mansoor Delane? Do we take Makai Lemon, who's going to just ball out and be a serious dude, which is welcome? Or, is Jeremiah Love falling down? And can so this is going to be fun, man. This is going to be fun. And Mansoor Delane will definitely be in that conversation in the top 15. I think he'll go no later than that, let's be honest. But you never know. So the Rams are smartly meeting with him, and we'll see what happens, Mark.
Yeah, with 2 first-round picks, I think the chances of the Rams trading one of those, moving around a little bit, is probably greater than 50%, if we're honest with ourselves.
Look at the Rams. Everyone have tried to trade up for offensive players. Feels like every year in a row, right? And they're going to try to make it. Sean's going to fall in love with somebody, and this team's going to fall in love with somebody. Is it probably going to be offense if you had to bet on it? Sure. But they're not staying put at 13. It feels like a trade up or a trade back is going to happen, but you never know. You got to have 2 to tango, but the Rams are going to have tons of options, honestly. So I'm excited. And if Mansoor Delane was the pick in the first round of the first few, or even at pick 29, this would be, I think, welcome. And again, we'll look at the film, everyone, but good to know the Rams are having serious interest with him again, with a formal meeting, closed doors. And that's good news for our team, Mark, who need an upgrade at corner, outside corner specifically, very much so.
Absolutely. I still think the ideal situation is to sign a couple of cornerbacks, known quantities that are going to be good to go day one. But that may not happen. You don't always get all the free agents you want. The Rams could want Jamal Dean really, really bad, and he goes elsewhere. So have to see how it plays out.
Yep, and perfectly said. Free agency is going to dictate a lot of how this first round goes for the Rams,
Oh,
and that'll be exciting to see within a week, everyone, or less than a week. Woo,
you know,
it's on. The new league year kicks off. Excuse me. So there's a formal meeting for you there, everyone, and with this player as well, Mark, another defensive player who, wasn't on my radar. I haven't heard much about him, truthfully, outside of all the new news coming in this last week. But Mark, this is kind of cool, man. Josiah Trotter out of Mizzou, who is the younger brother of Jeremiah Trotter Jr., who is also, the son, both of them, of Jeremiah Trotter Sr., who was with the Philadelphia Eagles for a long time. They met with him formally, Mark. So they wanted to have a sit-down, closed interview with him with the whiteboard in the suite, et cetera, et cetera. So, hey, inside linebacker had some very terrible moments this season. We highlighted them after post games a ton. We did film breakdown. Shout out to everyone who tuned into those Orchestrator Rams episodes. And look we like Omar Spates. We've seen good things from him, but he had some disastrous moments in coverage. We like Nate Landman for his peanut punch, fumbling, causing playmaking ability, but his play slid off at the end of the year. He's not the greatest in coverage either. We like the idea of Sean Dolak, who we think deserves a chance to compete for Omar in that starting linebacker spot. And if there's upgrades available after that Ernest Jones disastrous trade away, I'm not hating with them meeting that with any inside linebacker to see if it'll be an upgrade, Mark. So again, I don't know much about Trotter's all 22 production. I'll look at it. I'll find his film, but pretty interesting that they have interest in him to some capacity, and especially in a formal meeting, Mark.
Yeah, I think next up on my examination of free agents and draft prospects is inside linebacker. And I don't know if this means Sonny Styles is, just they've decided that he's out of their reach, or they're not willing to use that high first round pick, or to trade up for Sonny Styles, who would be, I think Sonny Styles is the what Jeremiah Love is to the running back position. Sonny Styles may be the same thing for the inside linebacker position, a generational talent. But if they're swearing off, if they're just acknowledging that that's not going to happen, then look at a guy like Trotter in the later rounds. We're looking probably 29th pick or somewhere in the second round. He'd probably be there in the second round at 61, perhaps.
Yeah.
So it's a good option.
Yeah, and again, I got to look at this film. We'll look at the film, Mark, and we'll have our own opinion on where the Rams should target this player. And again, don't have a great idea. Wants to just be transparent on that. I will soon. But interesting that they want to have a formal meeting with him, Mark. And, inside linebacker, they don't invest heavy other than Ernest Jones with a third-round pick not too long ago. Led to a Super Bowl and playing well. Led to also Nate Landman being extended not that long ago in this past season. Hopefully that ages well, right? Other signings in the past have not. Bobby Wagner for financial reasons. Alec Ogletree for schematic reasons once upon a time as well. So we'll see. And we'll get a better idea about Trotter as a player as time goes on. And I promise we'll have a good idea on how he plays out there based on the all 22. But defense, Mark. Can never have enough of it based on how the Rams played for 2 months at the end there. Ugh.
Yeah, hey, I'll just share this real quick. I was just notified via text that the Rams have tendered exclusive rights free agents Justin Dedich, Harrison Mevis, and Xavier Smith. No surprise there, but just for the record.
Oh, cool. So, hey, let's we can talk about that real quick then, man. Breaking news here. We talked about it when we were going through who could be cap casualties, everyone. We talked about it when players that were likely or unlikely to be kept or re-signed. And we said all the, what was it? What tender were they, Mark, exactly? I'm blanking on it at the moment. Sorry.
I'm sorry. You're talking about these three guys?
Yeah.
I do not have that.
Exclusive rights, right? So I don't get that.
Exclusive rights. Right.
Yeah. So, guys, those are all vet minimum deals where you either play for the Rams or you don't play football at all, right? So it's very, very, very interesting how that's all set up. That was agreed upon between the NFL and NFLPA, but we all thought they would be back. Dedich filled in good as a backup, right, Mark? Xavier was hey, a rotational wide receiver who made big plays but shouldn't be a starting guy, let's be honest. And then Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker, kicked well for the team for the second half of the season or whenever he filled in, whatever week that was. So for vet minimum deals, Mark, I mean, no brainer on all those guys, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of some Ram fans were ready to say goodbye to Xavier Smith, but come on, man, he's since he has exclusive rights, bring him back, and maybe he'll have a chance for redemption down the road here.
Yeah, and I think I just think it's a great idea that you keep the guys who have done good things for you, right? Dedich filling in, Mevis kicking a game-winning field goal in the playoffs. And look at Xavier had a disastrous moment in the biggest game of his life, right? And that sucks, but can he play some wide receiver? Yes, he can. Can he be a deep threat and make big plays down the field? Yes, he can. And for $1.2 or $1.5 million, whatever it is, that's worth keeping around. So everyone out there is like, why is he coming back? Why is he coming back? For a vet minimum, guys, and his ability on offense, when he gets thrown too deep, it's valuable for that price tag, right? Let's not kid ourselves,
Yeah,
Mark.
right.
So we'll see. But good on those guys for coming back at it's incredibly cheap deal, right? As again, one more time for you, they were exclusive rights free agents. They did not have the ability to be a unrestricted free agent where they could sign anywhere. Rams owned all the rights. So they said, you're either going to play for us for cheap or you're not playing football. And for those guys, what are they going to say? Oh, we're going to sit out. Yeah, right. So good on them for coming back, and good on the Rams for wanting them back, as all those guys deserve to be back based on how they're played on offense. Offense, no defense. Maybe not special teams for Xavier, but thicker kicker. That makes sense for sure. Very good on them. But there you go. Those are breaking news during the pod, everyone, on that. And our last guy in terms of who the Rams met with, Mark, as we spin our thoughts back to that real quick. Offensive lineman, guard, center, whatever, how you want to view him as. I'll look at his film as well. Would be Michael Morris from the University of Georgia, the Bulldogs, as Les Snead seems to like a lot of players out of that school. All the guys who have been brought in as the years have gone on, with Les Snead leading the charge. And with him, Mark, I know we were talking about it before we jumped on here live with everyone. I know you were saying, hey, could it be an upgrade over Coleman Shelton? Could it be, hey, maybe a replacement for Steve Avila if a contract extension couldn't be signed, a contract extension couldn't get done with Kevin Dotson? All those are possible. But hey, if the Rams are interested, they think he could play, clearly, as we believe in that scouting department in the front office, getting it right with a lot of players. So I'm all for it, man. I mean, let's be real about it. We hope Dotson's extended, not just for his play, but for healthy cap reasons, right? We talked about an extension would help the cap get lowered, and you want to keep a good player. We hope Steve Avila wants to continue playing here, but we don't know what his asking price is going to be. We hope that he will play well. So you can't get mad at them looking at a versatile lineman, and then who knows, Coleman Shelton, they may be saying, hey, how can we get better there? Was, people complain about Coleman's lack of push in the run game, which is true sometimes, and other times I think he does a good job, really good in pass protection. So you can't get mad at the Rams meeting with an O-line, even though, yes, this Rams O-line did play well just a season ago or a couple months ago, really, right, Mark?
Yeah, and I'm really happy with our interior offensive line for the most part. I think you can. Hey, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Is the wrong approach in everything you do. You always got to be looking for improvement. But it just I always wondered. I've always wondered. If the Rams are interested in a guy like this, that's probably going to go, I think, 4th or 5th round. Are they showing their cards by interviewing guys like this? I've always wondered about that.
Don't know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but I don't think so, because again, the scenarios we point out to you, I know you're talking about, like, is that showing a card, like, because you're worried about re-signing guys or keeping guys around? But you got to meet with them. I mean, I think at the end of the day, this isn't the Cleveland Browns, everyone, or the Raiders, where they always screw it up in the draft over my lifetime, right? So if the Rams are meeting with somebody, then is that immediately going to make other teams be like, oh, we got to meet with them too? I think we've learned over our football lives that teams that are ran well know what they're doing and do a good job regardless of others. And teams that suck and continue to suck and make bad decisions in the draft won't learn from other good teams. So I think it's irrelevant, truthfully.
Yeah, it just wondering. But yeah,
I
if
feel you.
this guy, based on my reading, just on the measurables, it would be a beast in the middle. So, who are our backups? We got Dedich, Bo Limmer, and so there's room for improvement, definitely. And maybe someone can. Coleman Shelton's a serviceable, decent center for sure. But you can improve that position for sure. I think we're pretty solid at left and right guard. But yeah, if he would compete for the starting center position or just be an upgrade as far as the backups go, absolutely in favor of that.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. And again, you never know how the draft turns out. So the Rams want to meet with you. I think that's a good thing. And I believe in this scouting department to get crap done. So that's the list, everyone. That's everyone who we know of, right? I mean, if Jeremiah Love never said anything on the Rich Eisen show, we wouldn't have known it, right? If others like Makai Lemon weren't probed to say who he met with, we would have never known it either, right? So I'm sure there's another handful of players the Rams have informally met with or closed door setting formally met with that we just don't know about. And if we get that information, we'll talk about it. We'll cover it for sure on this podcast, or you'll see tweets of mine out there in the world. But I mean, Mark, talented group overall, and it's going to be fun to see what the Rams do. Obviously in round one, but the magic of round 2, 3, and later, the Rams seem to always do one hell of a job. And maybe not so much in round 2 over the years, but 3 and downward have been heroic and career altering for this organization with the guys they've taken then. So it's going to be a fun one, man.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of touched on it, and I was talking to my special assistant about this as far as the draft. We love the heck out of drafts during the Jeff Fisher and Steve Spagnuolo and Scott Linehan era because we had high picks and the team kind of sucked, and then we went through the early McVay years where the team was really good and we basically sat through day one, didn't even watch, and now we get a really good team with a high pick, 2 first-round picks. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And free agency, I think, is going to be next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Might be a big splash signing for the Rams, hopefully.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's going to be a fun one, everyone. And speaking of fun, wouldn't this be fun, everyone? I mean, I'll pose this question to you out there, and I think we know the answer to that, everyone tuning in. I mean, does a Crosby trade for the Rams make sense? I'll give you the simple answer. Yes. How about you, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I love the guy. I don't know much about him, but the times I've watched him play, he also it seems like a really cool dude. There was this one clip where I saw one of his teammates took a really bad penalty on the side. You could see him immediately, just the frustration he had, not only taking the penalty, but crossing the line of the code that players have. I know you probably know the play I'm talking about, but I guess it depends on the cost, man. I don't want him to ruin our draft day. We're all of a sudden we're watching, we're sitting on our hands till the second round again. So I guess it depends on what it takes to make it happen.
I mean, why are we bringing this up, everybody, outside of just the hopefulness that, again, a bad team like the Raiders my entire life pretty much does continue to do dumb things. And look at Crosby. I mean, if I were him, I'd be like, get me the hell out of here. I've seen so many regime changes. I'm a badass. I'm top 10 in run blocking, top 10 in pass rushing, getting to the quarterback. I'm a baller. Why do I want to stay around? That would be me if I were him. And guys, this isn't just some smokescreen hypothetical. Albert Breer, everyone, who is a credible National Football League reporter who works for Sports Illustrated, who always digs deep, finds great info. This isn't just hot take sports show BS from Albert Breer. He gets good info, man. He says recently in an article he put out that Cowboys, Bears, Ravens, Bills, Patriots, Eagles, and Rams are keeping tabs on his availability. So this isn't just a fan hopefulness any longer. The team has got interest, makes a ton of sense. And for his scheme fit, because I know he's been playing in a 4-3 scheme, which is a defensive end spot, right? Where he'd be 3-point stance, hand in the dirt, right? The old slang for that, where he's not dropping back into coverage very often. The Rams run a 3-4 scheme where we have a nose tackle, 2 D tackles, and 2 edge guys, right? Where Byron and Jared play. Obviously, we play a lot of nickel and dime defense where Puna 4 is not out there all the time. But I mean, Mark, I see people saying, oh, he's a 4-3 guy. He can't fit into a 3-4. Give me a break. I mean, the guy is a baller. You don't think he would fit in standing up, getting after the quarterback and defending the run with that massive body full of muscle and long arms? I mean, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, and again, it's kind of like the Jeremiah Love situation. I thought, I'm surprised the 49ers aren't on that list because they need help in a big way.
No kidding.
And, how would you feel about him ending up in San Francisco? So, it just kind of put things into perspective. Yeah, the 49ers wouldn't feel good about Maxx Crosby ending up in LA. And so Ram fans should be really happy about it if it were to happen. I just unclear on what's the cost,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Pick 29 and I'm in. I don't give a damn.
Oh yeah, that would make sense. And by the way, he's going to be 29. He's going to be 29 years old at the start of the season, so he's still in his prime.
Yeah, guys, I mean, per the advanced analytics, he's for sure top 10 in run defense, obviously as well one of the best pass rushers. What do the Rams need? They need an ass-kicking closer. And we need better run support, too. It was a better job by Byron and Jared this year, but there was games it wasn't perfect, and I feel like they could have played a lot better. Crosby solves both those issues that the Rams have had. And for anyone out there saying, oh, he's hitting 30 and all that, guys, this is an all-in season. Who gives a shit about a couple years from now? If they waste another Matthew Stafford good season with this group, right? Devontae's got 1 year left. Kevin technically has got 1 year left. Coleman, I mean, other guys I'm blanking on right now. Puka before he gets paid massively. Kobe before he eventually gets paid massively. This is it. So I don't want to hear about, when Crosby's 32, what are the Rams going to do? Who cares? I don't know what I'm having for breakfast tomorrow. So what does that matter? We're here about the here and now, and Crosby here and now makes a lot of sense. I know the breakfast isn't the same, that analogy I try to throw out there, but Mark, they got to pull the trigger. Again, if they want 2 first-round picks, I'm like, ugh. But pick 29 and something else, I'm in favor. Do it.
Yeah, and, it's kind of – go back to how the Rams won a Super Bowl, right? They added pieces – and they can fill all their holes in free agency if they really decide that's the path. That they have the money, they have the salary cap room. And if you make a trade for this and give up, 29 and 61 in a player or something, it would make sense. I don't know about number 13, giving that up, but
I don't think that's happening.
Yeah, but they can, they can get their cornerbacks in the second round or free agency. They just got to draft real well once again if they give up a pick or 2.
Yeah. So regardless, look, get Crosby on the Rams. Dude is one of the only good players, him and Eric Stokes, right? So they're the only ones doing anything for that defense, and they're kind of isolated, having to carry the weight of the bad defense. Get his ass in here. And one more time for you. Go ahead, Mark.
I was just going to say Jeremiah Love, Maxx Crosby, Jamal Dean, and Eric Stokes. And we're kind of good to go, right?
I mean, come on, everyone. That's championship caliber right there. And in an alternate timeline,
that's
Mark,
doable.
That's coming true. Maybe we live in it. We just don't know it yet. So
that's actually realistic, right? It's the Jeremiah Love part maybe not be realistic, but
possible. It's not impossible. So
right.
One more time for you, everyone. In case you're saying, all right, Ian, what makes you feel so confident? One more time for you. Credible Albert Breer, national reporter, Cowboys, Bears, Ravens, Bills, Patriots, Eagles, and Rams are keeping tabs on his availability. And Albert doesn't say things like that just based on him assuming. He's got credible info to put that out there. And that's great news that the Rams are serious about Crosby joining. And it's got to be the right price, and I don't disagree with that, Mark.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if 49ers aren't on that list. Maybe they're more interested in Hendrickson. Just guessing, because he's another guy that could be on the move as well.
Absolutely. And I mean, one more thing too, everyone, is that the NFL salary cap, speaking of money and all that, is set at $301.2 million, which is $22 million more than this past 2025 season. And the Rams are top 10 in spending money, cap dollars as of today. We expect extensions, restructures to happen to free up probably another 30 to 40 million. So, I mean, my God, Mark, the Rams could have over $100 million if they really wanted to get this team assembled. And of course, you got to save what is it? 12, 13 million for the draft class that'll get taken in, and unrestricted, or not unrestricted, undrafted free agents that will get signed to this team and everything else. But I mean, Mark, the Rams could do all the fun hypothetical scenarios you and I have talked about, the fan base has talked about, and more if they really want to, now that it's at $301.2 million for cap spending. That's great news, man.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we haven't heard of restructures. I've been hearing several other teams have been getting some work done in that regard. The Rams, I have not heard, but that could be something that happens in the next few days. I expect it to happen. It's just a matter of, the only question is the magnitude. Is it some onesie twosie restructures, or do they go all in and restructure 4 or 5 guys?
Yeah, and we went through that not too long ago, everyone, the last couple of weeks. We expect a handful of restructures and or extensions from some notable guys, which will free up that at least another 30, 40 million. And now that we're getting an extra 22 based on the new over 300 million, that's great news. And then one more set of, whether you give a crap about this or not, I guess if your grades for your team suck, then you really care about it. A la the Pittsburgh Steelers, everyone, which is kind of shocking. The NFL player report card for the Rams organization is out there, as the NFLPA was getting sued or getting into legal battles with NFL owners and the teams for having these report cards public. As we went through them last year, the Rams graded well on a tons of stuff. Some stuff, not so much. We'll bring up the current one as it is. But NFLPA owners came to the agreement saying, hey, this will not be public knowledge. Well, that didn't stop anybody, as it leaked. ESPN got their hands on it. And so now we have our hands on what the report card grades are for the 2025 Rams organization. So let's go through that real quickly. So we'll start at the top. Treatment of families, Mark, C+. All right, we'll get into that after. Home field or home game field, C. We'll talk about that, of course. Food and dining area, D. Nutritionist / dietitian, B. Locker room, D. Training room, B. Training staff, A. Weight room, B. Strength coaches, A. Position coaches, A. Offensive coordinator, A. Talking about Mike LaFleur. Defensive coordinator, A. Talking about Chris Shula. Special teams coordinator, B+. Now, we'll get to that a little bit after. Team travel, B. Head coach, A+. No shock. General manager, A. Team ownership, B. So anything A or B, Mark, there's one of them we'll get to, but treatment of family, C+. What is your opinion on that? Why is that not a B or an A? What do you think that is?
Yeah, it's really surprising because in my experience, I would think it's an easy A. It should be an easy A.
Yeah.
And so they're doing something wrong. I don't know if they're, not assigning the right people to make sure the family is taken care of.
Yeah.
I assume they mean game, attendance at games, travel, all those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really surprising. They got to fix that.
Yeah, I do think it's probably about like accommodations, like how many tickets are they getting for game day? Are they getting access to the best suites? I think it's a lot of that. It may be accommodations for flying. I know that the players and the organization like to keep that. So again, we're not the players. We don't know what they can or cannot do with their loved ones and friends and family, but we would like to see that at least be a B. but I have a feeling that it's probably ticket accommodation. I'm sure if
Yeah,
the Rams players could get anything they want for tickets, I'm sure that would be a much higher
yeah.
grade. So,
I wonder. I wonder
uh,
if the wives are the ones that score that grade.
well, I'm sure maybe complaints from players' wives, and the players are kind of
Right.
reflecting that, right? We'll see, I suppose. Home game field is a C. No shock. Players do not like playing on turf field, and yes, the turf field is a very, I guess, brand new slash high tech artificial turf at SoFi Stadium. But look, I'm with the players too. Let's get grass in there. We know that's not going to happen based on all the events they have at SoFi Stadium, Mark, outside of sports, even concerts, et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, no shock that's a C, right? Home game field.
Yeah. There's not much the Rams can really do about that. It is what it is at this point. But it it is. I don't know what you can say about that grade.
Yeah,
It's not going to change.
I know. Get some grass in there, Cronky, and then everyone would say,
Yeah.
hey, and more players will want to play for the Rams if the home game
Yeah.
field was grass. Let's be real about it. Shout out to
Yeah.
Cooper Cup all the years, always being outspoken about that. And he's right, and players are right on that. Food and dining area, see a D. Well, that's pretty crappy. Yes. Look at it. Do we gotta get better chefs in there? I guess that's really the answer, right, Mark?
Yeah, I can only guess. Again, that there's no excuse for that, especially with the resources that this organization has, and in Los Angeles, all the availability of anything you want, whether it be personnel or food or geez, I don't get that one.
Yeah, I mean, but look, the one grade right after that is nutritionist slash dietitian, which is a B. So maybe
Right?
it's leaning towards the dining area being shitty because it's in
Yeah.
temporary facilities, right? The Rams are planning to have this insane state of the art, legit facility, being built hopefully within the next couple of years, and we'll see how fast they want to get that done. So I'm sure maybe a lot of it is dining area. I'll probably lean to that, but the food is a part of that too. So hey, hopefully nutritionists and dietitians are at least getting them a good plan. And it seems that to be the case. But I think this ties into the locker room as well, Mark, it being a D. And this is not the SoFi Stadium locker room, everyone. This is your day-to-day practice areas and overall day-to-day stuff. Locker room being a D, no shock. It's temporary facilities. Rams are planning to build the nice ones, hopefully soon. But that, Mark, and I think also what else? Weight room being a B plays into that. I just think all that stuff, it just how the facilities are, they're all temporary, everyone. When Kroenke, again, one of the richest people on planet Earth, will pour into the new stuff, I'm sure all these will be a no doubt about it, A, when that's all completed, right?
Yeah, and how long does that take? You think that would just be bang, bang, get it done. I mean, this is a guy with a real estate background, but hey, what do I know? But yeah, given that they are the temporary facilities we're talking about here, yeah, it gives them some time to get it fixed, and I think you're right. It's going to be on the uptick here.
Yeah. And then you say, hey, why is team travel be? I don't know. I mean, could Kroenke maybe get the craziest airplanes possible? Maybe. Is it because, they have to meet at the temporary facilities and then go to the airport, LAX, and get out of there? Maybe. But look at what are the most important ones? All the coaches are A's. I think, real quick, Mark, speaking to special teams coordinator, is that because everyone was friends with Chase Blackburn and then he got canned? And then they also like Ben Kodwika.
You know,
Maybe not so much for football operations and scheming, right? I think based on that, that would be an F. But who knows? Maybe it's kind of half and half. Maybe it's like, hey, Ben Kodwika did such a great job, at least getting this team to play as best as possible afterwards. Maybe that elevates it to B plus. We don't know exactly when all these were, handed into the NFLPA, all the players reporting on it. But look at all the important stuff are A's or B's. The temporary facility issue stuff are the low grades. But to your point, game field and treatment of families, like that should be A's. And hopefully
yeah,
those will improve over time. And easy solution, get some damn grass at SoFi Stadium. And then, hey, give our players more tickets for their families. I think
yeah.
that'll solve those issues, right, Mark?
Yeah, and the travel issue could be dinged. I'm only guessing here.
Yeah.
Number one, LAX is not the best,
Yeah.
and number two, I don't know if this is considered at all, but West Coast teams typically have a lot more travel than a lot of other teams.
Yeah.
And it may just be a reflection of, hey, if you play for the Rams, you can have some long flights and it's not fun.
Yep, it's not fun as the Rams will be going to a different continent, probably for week 1 if the rumors are true on that. So hopefully Cronky's got a nice plane for those guys. And hopefully,
Yeah.
Jesus, Matthew Stafford with his back, other players with issues. I mean, Jesus, Alaric Jackson with the blood clots. Hopefully they got all that figured out for a long travel
Right.
to Australia. Just thought of that right now off the top of my head. But I mean, there you are, everyone. There's the report card for the Rams that leaked, right? It was settled by ownership and the NFL Players Association, the union, that it wouldn't come out. But I mean, what are we talking about, Mark? You don't think that's not going to get leaked? I mean, it's funny how the owners really thought that, but it's also funny. They're like, we don't care about it. It means nothing. We know what we need to work on, but then you fought hard to hide it and
Right.
get it in. And at least Rams, again, a lot of the most important stuff were graded well. And thank God, because look, if we had some bad grades with coaching, that would worry me a ton. But luckily, we aren't any of those teams that have bad grades like that. And the Rams are in good hands, whether it be for that draft, free agency, and within a week, less than a week. I'm excited for this season to officially kick off, Mark. I guess you could say the off season, but when the new league year is ready to go, when free agency starts, I mean, that is when all hell is going to break loose, and I'm excited to see what moves the Rams decide, and we'll find out soon.
Yeah, we're going to try to be on top of it here at
Yep.
Rams Up, especially next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Not sure when the news is going to start popping, but we'll try to be on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, look, there's going to things that are going to leak probably Friday going on, right? Let's be honest about it. But I mean, shoot, everyone, let's get out of here on a high note. The Rams are meeting with great players from the draft, high-end prospects. I'm sure there's many more that we don't know of. The Rams are probably going to go after tons of great players in free agency and possible trades for all you Crosby hopefuls out there. Rams are keeping an eye on it. And look, no matter how you feel about this team and their choices, the Rams are a fantastic franchise that will always do what's best to be a good team. And an all-in season that is upon this squad, this core, really with Devontae, Matthew, and other older veteran players, it's time to go all in, and I think they will, Mark.
Yep. That's what it's looking like. And it's going to be one of those years, just a matter of what direction they go. We're probably going to be surprised. It's probably going to be some surprises here for us, but that's what makes it kind of fun.
Yep. It's going to be so damn fun. And, well, if there's other breaking news that happens tonight, we'll definitely, or me or Mark, will jump on and cover that again once more. But, hey, Rams are in position to win a championship at SoFi Stadium once again. And what a hell of a story that would be. The only team to ever do that twice. And they got a great shot. And it all starts very soon. And we'll see what happens the rest of this week. Cap casualties, trades that may go down, and of course, free agency next week, which we'll cover extensively. So, hey, everyone, you enjoy our content on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, like our videos, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any other craziness that'll go on within these next handful of months. Uniforms, logos, trades, signings, draft. And then, of course, as well, if you're on the audio podcast only side of things, support is there as well. Share it all, everyone. Share the YouTube, share the audio pods. It helps other Rams fans see our content. It helps this fan base grow like it has been every single day since they've came back in this LA 2.0 era. And we appreciate it, right, Mark?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, we do. And hey, no matter where you are, California, our Asian friends out there, our Australian friends that are forming as well, rep your blue and yellow. Rep it proud, rep it loud, and always throw up the horns, and you know what to say. Go Rams, baby.